welcome to Norwegian Woods. Today I'm out in the forest again, and I'm hoping to get some wet weather tonight. The forecast said it can be some really heavy rainstorms and maybe some thunder as well. So I had a really nice walk through the forest to get to this spot. The place I'm at is located next to this lake behind me, and this lake is called Stora Le, and it's right on the border between Norway and Sweden. And I'm hoping to do a little bit of fishing tomorrow. I bought myself a new fishing rod that I'm hoping to test out, and yeah, I also got myself a new tarp from DD Hammocks that I'm hoping will serve me really good on future trips. So I hope for this one. I've also been tagged. This is the first time I've been tagged here on YouTube, and I guess I have to do a little talk about knives. I brought a couple of knives, so yeah, I think this can be a good little trip. I decided to move just a little bit away from the water. It's not I can see the water from my hammock, but it's a little bit into the forest. I thought that could be a good idea to maybe get a little bit protection from the wind. And yeah, I found some really nice trees, and put up this. It's actually a lot larger than the tarp I have been using for a long time now, and I think this may be a better tarp if I need to have a little bit of room around my hammock. I also am trying out this new idea, and I put up a mesh hammock underneath my sleeping hammock. So I just tied the sleeping hammock with the sleeping bag inside. I tied it up to the ridge line. So I'm actually now lying in the mesh hammock, really close to the ground. Maybe I need to put this a little bit further down when I'm going to bed in my Hennessy hammock. But I will figure it out later when I go to bed. It's getting quite dark now, so it's really hard to film. So I guess I have to show you this whole setup in the morning. morning. I have had a really nice night's sleep. It was raining tonight. I woke up in the morning. It was raining, so I spent an extra hour inside my hammock, which is always nice in the morning. And yeah, I tried to put up some new ideas for this setup. I contacted DD Hammocks, and they agreed to send me a couple of things to check out for the channel, which I think is really awesome. And the tarp I used for this trip is the 3 by 4.5 meter tarp, and I think it's a pretty good size. When I contacted the guys at the DD Hammocks, I was actually looking for another 3 by 3 meter tarp, but yeah, they know their stuff, and they suggested that I should try out this 3 by 4.5 meter tarp instead. And I think that's a really good size for a hammock setup like I did now, because when it's raining you get a lot more space outside to keep the gear. The tarp I've been using up until this point has been this hex tarp from Hennessy, which is actually a pretty nice tarp, but it's designed in a way that it covers the hammock itself really good, but it takes away quite a lot of the space you get outside the hammock. And with this rectangular, a little bit larger tarp, I managed to get some really good space in front of my hammock. So I guess I could do a lot of stuff in there. If I was going to spend a few days in bad weather, it would be really handy to have some dry space outside the hammock. I also tried an idea to tie the sleeping hammock to the ridge line with my sleeping bag inside, because I don't think the hammock, the Hennessy hammock, is not all that good to sit in and do other stuff than sleeping, because it has this bug net that's connected to the hammock all the time, and it also have this internal ridge line system. So you get this thing that you bumps into with your head all the time when you sit in it. So I wanted to try this mesh hammock and put this underneath, so I can use that to sit in during the daytime, and also maybe to keep some gear in the night. But I don't know if that's really a good way to do it, because I needed to put my sleeping hammock quite high up from the ground, a little bit higher than I'm used to not bump into the gear that's in this mesh hammock underneath my sleeping gear. And yeah, I don't know if I like that. It's always some compromises. And this mesh hammock itself, it's pretty good to sit in like this, but when you get a little bit lower angle on it, I don't know if I like it that much, because it's falling together. It's not spreading out like my nylon hammock, the Hennessy hammock. So it's a little bit fiddly to get in and out of, and this all these holes in the mesh, it always seems to catch on to everything, like buttons, and if I have my knife, I have a saw in my pocket maybe, and when I was putting my gear in there, all the little buckles and everything was stuck to the hammock when I was trying to get it out in the morning. So I don't think a hammock like this is all that suited for that kind of setup. I've also tried this hammock, this mesh hammock, couple of other setups. I tried to put it up like this, they call it, I think, the Bushcraft chair, where you make a tripod and you put a beam, and I folded this hammock as a seat, and it didn't work. Maybe I should try it a little bit more, but I'm really not that stoked about this hammock. After the rain stopped this morning and I managed to get out of bed, I tried to find some blueberries, because it's a lot of this blueberry bushes around here, and I think it's a little bit strange, because last time I was out there was a lot of blueberries, so I think it's a pretty good season. But I didn't find more than, I found 3 blueberries, and I was searching for an hour, and I think either someone has been here and picked them all, or there are some animals that eat them. I'm not all that sure what animals that go around and eat absolutely all the blueberries, because there's a little bit of tyttebær, the lingonberries, and I don't think anyone's picked them. There's actually quite a few of them around. But I saw some really obvious signs of wild boar activity. I don't know if the pigs go out and eat all the blueberries. I don't know. Maybe there's just some other people that's been there and picked them. I don't know. But I didn't find anything, so I had to go for a plan B on my breakfast, because I wanted to have blueberry oatmeal porridge this morning. I thought that would be a really awesome breakfast, but I don't want to make porridge with lingonberries. I don't think that would be all that nice. So I just had some nuts and chocolate for breakfast. I don't know if that's really the best breakfast, but it's yeah, it was what I had. That's a plan B. A few days ago, I was tagged by another YouTuber. This is actually the first time I've been tagged here on YouTube, and I thought it would be fun to try to respond to this. The guy that tagged me is Odd from Norwegian Bushcraft, and his channel is actually one of the channels that really inspired me to start doing this YouTube thing. So yeah, he put out some really good videos, and if you don't already know about him, I would really suggest that you check him out. I'll leave a link in the description underneath this video here on YouTube. And the tag that he wanted me to respond to is to show 3 of my knives. He wanted me to show my newest acquired knife, and the cheapest knife I actually do use out in the wilderness, and my favorite overall bushcraft knife. I think I can start with talking about this Mora Kniv. This is the cheapest knife that I actually use out in the woods. This particular model is called Flex. It's a really thin blade. It's I think it's 1 millimeter, about 1 millimeter thick blade on it, and it's flexible. That's why they call it Flex, I guess. And it's a really cheap knife. It's mainly made for yeah, construction workers and carpenters and stuff to get into some tight cuts with this knife. But it looks really similar to another knife that Mora makes, that is a fishing fillet knife. And I find this really useful because it's so thin. It's a really good slicer, so it's good for food prep. And it's also stainless steel, and with the plastic sheet it's easy to clean, so it's yeah, it's lightweight. And yeah, I bring this from time to time when I want to have a designated knife just for food prep. So I think you can't go wrong with this model. I have not seen any other YouTubers that bring this Flex model out in the woods, but yeah, this is my cheapest knife that I actually use out in the woods. The next knife I want to talk about is my newest acquired knife. This is actually the first time I bring this knife out in the woods. I don't think it's actually I'm not done with it. I'm not ready to start using it yet because yeah, I'll talk more about it later. It's a knife, Norwegian knife, from a company up in the north of Norway called Strømeng. This model is the largest Sami knife that they make. This manufacturer is delivering a lot of knives to the Sami people that they use for yeah, I think pretty much everything when I go out in the wilderness up north to do the reindeer herding. They use these knives for food prep, for fire making, for butchering, for everything. And this style of knife they have used for a very long time. So it's a lot of traditions around these kind of knives. And I have another one from another maker in this style. It's an 8-inch, but I really wanted to check out this Strømeng knives because it's really traditional, a family-owned company. And this model is a 9-inch. It's called the Old Fashion. It's the name of this particular model, and you can see it from the look of it. It's made to look like it's yeah, like it's an old knife, and I really like that styling of the knife. I'm not too sure if I am all that stoked about the fit and finish of this knife. It's not like when you buy a Mora knife, because then you know what you get. It's perfect every time. Every knife is exactly the same. These knives, on the other hand, is, yeah, I think most of it is made by hand. And yeah, I actually first bought one of them, I returned it, and I got another one. That's this one. It was a little bit better in the fit and finish, but it's still not perfect, because I think this is the most expensive knife that I've actually bought up until this point. And I was hoping that it would be yeah, a little bit better in the fit and finish. If you don't mind that the fit and finish is not perfect, then I am pretty confident that this is a really good quality knife that you can use maybe for the rest of your life if you buy something like this and you take care of it and use it the way it's supposed to be used. The grip on it, it's really good. The steel is a carbon steel that's supposed to be really good. And yeah, it wasn't very sharp when I got it, and I haven't got around to sharpen it yet. Also, the fitting of the wood handle against the brass pommel is not all that nicely done. The finishing of the edge against the handle, I think it looks pretty terrible actually. And also the tip of the knife is not evenly ground. But after I'm finished sharpening it and straightening the tip, I know that this knife will perform for many years. and yeah, overall it's a really good quality knife, I think. I hope, because I spent quite a bit of money on it. The last knife I want to talk about, which is my favorite overall bushcraft knife, is my Helle Folkekniven. It is the knife I've probably had for without a doubt, is the knife that I've used the most out in the woods. And I've had it for quite a few years now. And yeah, overall I think this is my reference for what a good outdoors knife should be. I am pretty confident that most people that watch this video will disagree with this to be the perfect bushcraft knife. But yeah, it's not a full-tongue knife. It is, yeah, it's got a Scandinavian grind, Scandi grind, and it's stainless steel. It's not sharp on the spine of the blade, not at all. And the handle is made of wood. I think it's birch, and it comes with this leather sheet that's not really all that good made. It's a little bit thin and soft leather, but it performs perfectly. And I think one of the best things with this knife is the shape, size, and how it feels when you use it. It's a pretty chunky grip on it, and the blade, it's I think it's about 8.5 centimeters long. It's pretty thin, probably less than 3 millimeters, 2.5 millimeters or something like that. I don't remember. So it's a pretty good slicer. It's a short blade, so you get a lot of control when you use it, and it's stainless, so it doesn't rust. And yeah, the price is also pretty good. You can get these knives for a pretty good price. At least here in Norway, it's one of the Helle's cheapest knives. So you're not too worried if the knife breaks or if you lose it. It's a knife that you just keep on using, because yeah, I like the looks of it. It looks like a traditional knife. It looks like a knife should look, I think. Yeah, overall, really happy with this knife. I have tried quite a few nicer, quote-unquote nicer knives the last year or so. I've been buying a few knives. I have some plans to make a knife video for this channel. So I'm in the process of doing some more knife stuff in the future. And if any of the other knives I try get too far from the proportions of this blade, it just feels wrong to me. So maybe it's because I'm used to this, or maybe it's just because it is a good size and a good shape of the knife. So the only thing I can do is to talk from my perspective, and this, yeah, is definitely, up until this point, my favorite knife. There are a couple of things with these knives from Helle that I'm not too sure I like. Like this knife, for instance, it has a scratch mark on the middle of the handle, and the reason why it has this is because of the way this belt loop is attached to the sheath. When you put the knife inside the sheath and you use it over time, the steel in this buckle will scratch the handle of the knife, which I think is pretty stupid, but it's not taken away from the performance of the knife. but it scratches up the handle. Also the edge of the knife, like I said on the Strømeng, is not very good. It's sharp when you get it, but it's not even, and it's ground by hand, I think, and after that it's polished, and it's when you start to sharpen it, you see that it's not even the edge. Also, I have a few more Helle knives, and two of the knives that I bought was really not nice fit and finish at all. So I had to look around to find some good knives of the models I wanted to buy from Helle. So I think the quality control is a little bit, it's not perfect. And I've also seen around on YouTube that a lot of other buyers of the Helle knives have got some pretty bad fit and finish on the knives that they bought. So I think it's a good thing to buy Helle knives in a store where you can actually look at the knife and see how it, if it's acceptable. Because they say that they make handcrafted knives. They call them honest knives, and I think they are. They're not too fancy and flashy. It's knives that are made to be used out in the woods, and yeah, the fit and finish is probably not the highest priority. I also at one point tried to contact customer support, and they didn't reply, and I've heard other people that's experienced the same thing. So if you buy a Helle knife, I think you need to rely on the seller, not the manufacturer. Other than that, if you find a nice knife, you will have a really good knife for the rest of your life, I think, if you take care of it. I'm supposed to tag 3 other channels to do this tag. And of course, the tag goes as follows. You need to show your overall favorite bushcraft knife. You need to show your the cheapest one that you actually take out and use in the woods. And you also have to show your newest acquired knife. And as Odd said in his video, I think that's a good thing. If you want to, you can swap out 1 or 2 of the knives with a multi-tool, maybe a folding knife, maybe an axe, a saw, some other cutting tool. That's okay. But the 3 channels I've chose to do this is 3 other Scandinavian channels. The first one is Bushcraft Sweden. It's of course a Swedish channel run by my friend Matthew. And the other one is a Finnish channel called Helsinkipop. And the third is a Norwegian outdoors channel. It's called Ute Avdelingen, Outdoors Norway. And yeah, I hope you will do this. So good luck to these 3 channels. I'll leave links in the description to all channels. They're good channels, so it's worthwhile checking them out anyways. The main reason why I picked this particular spot for this trip is that I wanted to try out some new fishing gear. I want to try some fishing in the lake behind me. And yeah, I've actually got myself a couple of new fishing rods. This one is something I bought for this old Abu Ambassador reel that I had lying around at home. This my dad actually bought this quite a few years ago, and it's not been all that much used. And the rod I had for it was really not suitable for this kind of fishing. It was more for the fishing in the ocean. So I bought this baitcaster rod for this reel. It's a 9.6 foot medium light action rod. It's 4 sections, so it's really packable and compact when you take it all down. So it's easy to put in the backpack. And I think it's it's probably a good choice for fishing from shore without a boat in these kinds of lakes, because I don't need all that big lures for this fishing. I don't want to use that big lures. And this rod is rated for lures between 12 and 38 grams, I think. That's in the range of about a little bit less than ½ ounce and almost up to 1.5 ounce weight on the lures. So I think that's a good range for inland fishing. And I also want to use this rod a little bit for fishing in the ocean after maybe some mackerel and sea trout a little bit later. So yeah, I hope this will perform. I put some new fishing line on it yesterday, and it's 14-pound test. Here in Norway we say it's 0.35 millimeter line on it. So I think it's strong enough for some pretty decent size fish. In the lake that I'm going to fish today, I'll probably come back and do more fishing here in the future. It's some pretty big fish out there. There's a lot of pike, and there's also some pretty big trout and salmon. There's eel, and there's zander. I've never caught any zander before, so yeah, it's an interesting fish, I think. And there's also this theoretical possibility to catch some really huge catfish out here. It's this we call europeisk malle. It's called Wheels catfish, I think. I've never heard that any of these fish has been caught in this lake, but this is part of a really huge lake system that runs pretty much all over the south of Sweden. You can put a boat in this lake, and you can drive all the way to Gothenburg, and you can go into Vänern, and you can go across to Stockholm. So it's a lot of lakes that's connected with this channel system. And in this system, these huge fish do exist. So it's a theoretical possibility. But I don't think I will be able to catch several meter and several 100 kilos of fish on this light setup. But maybe for some decent size trout or pike or some big perch, yeah, I hope this setup will perform. The other rod that I have at home is much smaller. It's a lot lighter. I want to bring for this small waters out in the forest to fish for this trout and perch. So you'll see that in future videos. In many lakes here in Norway, you have to pay a fee to be allowed to fish in a lot of the lakes and the rivers. And the place to get these permits, it's on a website called iNatur. I'll leave a link in the description because I think it can be useful if you want to do some fishing in Norway. There you can find this lake called Stora Le, and you can pay 50 Norwegian kroners for the right to fish here for 1 day. The fishing that I have the most experience with is this spinner baits and spoon baits fishing. I also have done quite a lot of worm bait fishing, but as a throwing rod from shore, I think it would be interesting to try this size of lures, because in a big lake like this, I think the ultralight setup will maybe be a little bit on the border of what's suitable, and also for this ocean fishing. It's a fjord that's coming in not very far from where I live, that goes into Oslo, and yeah, it's not the best fishing. It's not like the west coast or the north of Norway, but you can get some food when we're out camping. That's what I'm hoping to catch with this rod. Not to fill up my freezer at home, just get the excitement, experience the outdoors, and catch myself a little bit of food on some of my trips. And yeah, I want to try out maybe some different kinds of bait and lures in the future. And I know that a lot of people around the world has so much experience, and if any of you that watch this video have some stuff that you want to share with me or my viewers or anything, I would really appreciate if you write some comments underneath the video, because sharing experiences and sharing knowledge, it's a really good thing. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there that want to try this stuff and don't have an experience, and they don't know where to start. And I think YouTube is a really good medium to share this kind of knowledge. I like to, when I do research for everything like outdoorsy, like gear and techniques, skills, everything, I like to read books, for sure. I like to go out and try stuff, but I also have learned so much from watching other YouTube videos, and I want to contribute to that I think tradition of sharing here on the community. So now it's this day is coming to an end, and I need to pack up my camp and go back to the car. It's about an hour walk maybe, and it's a little bit late, so I hope I reach back without using my headlamp, but I think I'll manage to find the car anyway. I just want to say that all in all, I think this has been a good trip. I enjoyed the tarp from DD hammocks. It was really nice to try something a little bit bigger, and the tarp I've used on my hammock before, because it was raining, and it was really awesome to have some more space around my hammock. I also think that the solo stove performed really good. It was a little bit harder to get it started than it was the first time I used it. And I think that was because of all the wet firewood, but it wasn't any problem. It just took a little bit more time before it was going like it should. I didn't actually catch any fish this time, but my main goal was to try out this new fishing rod, and I'm not experienced with the bait caster reels at all, so I used this on another rod a few times, but yeah, I need to practice. That's the experience I got from this time. I was getting better, but I need to figure out how to adjust and get a feel for how to load the rod and to get good distance in the throws. But I think it feels like it's a good setup for this kind of lures I'm hoping to use it for. and maybe next time I will catch a fish with it. You never know. So I guess that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I'm planning to make quite a few more videos in the not so far future. So until next time, take care and goodbye for now.